What's up guys, I'm Ryan and this is LHN Films. In this video I'm going to be making my 2020 NHL play-in predictions, and this video will be on the Western Conference. So to start out, I'm going to be talking about Calgary and Winnipeg. So I'm going to have to go with Winnipeg in this series. Hellebuyck, he was the best goalie in the NHL this year. In my opinion, I don't think anyone else should even be considered for the Vezina. David Rittich for Calgary was just okay. It wasn't terrible, but wasn't great. So Winnipeg has a huge edge in goaltending. I think that Winnipeg also has the better offense. They definitely have better star power. Scheifele, Wheeler, Connor, Laine, Ehlers are all very, very good players. While Calgary, to match up against those guys, has Goodrow, Lindholm, Tkachuk, and I just like the Winnipeg offense better. Neither team has crazy good depth, so I'd say that's pretty even. Calgary definitely has the better defense, though, because after Pionk and Morrissey, the Jets' defense isn't really that great, but we all have seen in the regular season that Hellebuyck can bail them out. Calgary with Giordano, Hannafin, Anderson, they've got a pretty solid D-core, though. Calgary also has the second worst goal differential out of all of the teams in this play-in, so that's not a good thing for them. Neither team really has a significantly better power play compared to the other. Calgary does have the better penalty kill, but I don't think this series is really going to come down to special teams. I think it's going to come down to goaltending, and I definitely like Winnipeg's better. Plus, I don't have a lot of faith in Calgary right now, because they were really bad in the playoffs last year against the Avs, so I don't know if they're built for the playoffs or what's up, but I'm taking Winnipeg in this series. The Jets and Flames only played once this season, and the game went to overtime before the Jets were able to win it, so it should be a fun series to watch. So the next series I'm going to talk about is Vancouver against Minnesota. I'm going to give the edge to Vancouver in this one. Once again, I think one team has a way better goalie than the other, and that is Markstrom is better than Dubnyk. Dubnyk has been pretty solid since he's been to Minnesota, but this year he just didn't have it for whatever reason. Well, Markstrom was amazing while he was healthy, and I'm not even 100% sure Dubnyk is going to be the starting goalie. Stalock was better than him this year, but even then I would definitely rather have Markstrom in goal compared to Stalock. I think Minnesota does have the edge on defense. Spurgeon's super underrated, Brodin is super underrated, and plus they've got Suter and Dumba, so that's a really good D-core. Vancouver's isn't the best. They do have Quinn Hughes. It's going to be fun to see him in the playoffs. I think he's going to play really well, but I really think that Minnesota has 4 of the best 5 defensemen in that series. But the problem with that is there's no point in having that great of a defense if your goalie's still not going to make the save. So I don't think that's what it's going to come down to. And I think Vancouver has the better forwards. I think they've got better stars and better depth. Minnesota kind of lacks a superstar. I think Fiala's really good, but he's not quite on a superstar tier yet because this was really just his first breakout year. But Pettersson, Miller, and Besser, that line is just insane. It's going to be really hard to stop. Both these teams do have good power plays. Minnesota has a weak penalty kill, while Vancouver's is about league average, so I give a slight special teams edge to Vancouver. I think Vancouver's better 5-on-5, so I'm going to have to take them in this series. The Wild did win the season series against Vancouver 2-1, though one of those games wasn't a shootout. They're pretty evenly matched teams, but I think Vancouver's taking it still. Next up, we have Nashville versus Arizona. This is definitely going to be an interesting one. It's going to be fun to see Roman Josi. He's a super fun player to watch. I think he's the best player in the series. I think he should, hands down, just win the Norris. I know Karlsson was great offensively, but so was Josi, and Josi was also really good defensively. But Nashville, in this series, they've got 3 good defensemen in Josi, Ellis, and Ekholm, but it really drops off after them. Fabro's okay, but whoever they decide to play for their third pairing, it's kind of weak. Their offense also definitely underperformed in the regular season. I think the Coyotes' offense also underperformed, so it's going to be more of a defensive series. For the goalies, Rinne was just, I don't know what happened to him this year. Maybe he's starting to get old, he's on a decline, but he just wasn't very good. Saros was alright, he was pretty solid. I'm not sure who Nashville's going to have start for them, But regardless, I think the Coyotes have a huge advantage in goal. Because Kemper, when he was healthy, he was having a Vezina-type season. The Coyotes were at the top of the division when he was healthy, and he was stealing them games. He's a very, very good goaltender. The Coyotes also, they've got a pretty good defense. Overall, it's just solid. They don't have like a weak third pairing like Nashville does. They also don't have anyone that's as good as Ellis or Yossi, though. Ekman-Larsson's really good still. Chychrun's definitely underrated. But they've also got guys like Hjalmarsson, who have been great in the playoffs in the past. Veterans in Goligoski as well. And then Phil Kessel. I think Phil Kessel's going to be a factor in the series because he always steps up in the playoffs. He always finds a way to score. I think he's really going to step up. I think Taylor Hall also finally getting some playoff action. I think he's going to play really well. I think Nashville's just going to struggle to score. Neither team's offenses are great. I like the Coyotes' defense slightly better. But Kemper versus either Rinne or Saros, I just like Kemper a lot more. The season series between these two teams ended up being tied 1-1. As for special teams, the Coyotes definitely have the edge because they have a very good penalty kill. An average power play, but Nashville is well below average on the penalty kill and the power play. Though I don't think special teams is what playoff hockey comes down to. A poor special teams unit can lose you a game more than win you a game, I believe. It'll be interesting to see if Nashville's offense can maybe figure it out, because on paper it's a lot better than what it's been, but I'm not so sure that it will. So I think the Coyotes are going to take the series. It should be a good one, but I think the Coyotes are going to take it. Finally, we have Edmonton versus Chicago. This one, I know pretty much everyone else I've seen is taking Edmonton, but I'm going with Chicago. Edmonton, they have the best power play in the league and the second best penalty kill in the league. So they definitely have the edge on special teams, but I feel like the series is going to come down to 5-on-5 play, especially in playoff-type hockey where there's less penalties. Edmonton relies on that power play to win them games, and if they aren't getting on the power play as much, it's going to be tough for them to win. Chicago has a weak power play, so they're going to have to find a way to score 5-on-5, but a solid penalty kill. Goaltending, Crawford is still a beast. He's always been really good in the playoffs, and I don't see any reason why he's going to not be good. And Edmonton, I'm not sure who's going to start between Koskinen or Smith, but I definitely like Crawford better than both of them. Both these teams, I don't like the D-core on either of them. Nurse and Klefbom get a lot of ice time for Edmonton, and I really just don't think they're the strongest defensively. I think Ethan Bear is probably the best defenseman in the series in my opinion. Duncan Keith is also going to be playing a lot. He's been known to step it up in the playoffs, but he is getting older. He's definitely been declining the past few years, but he's still a pretty good player, so it'll be interesting to see how he does. Then when it comes to offense, I think Edmonton, they really only have 4 good forwards in McDavid and Draisaitl, of course, plus Yamamoto and Nugent-Hopkins. But I think they're going to have a good series, those 4 guys. Because Chicago's defense is weak. It's going to be tough for them to stop. At the same time, I think guys like Kane, DeBrincat, Taves, and Kubelik are all going to go off because I don't see how Edmonton's going to stop them either. I think there's going to be a lot of goals in this series. But I do think the Blackhawks are going to win it still. I like Crawford in goal a lot, and playoff hockey often comes down to goaltending. And I don't like Edmonton's depth on forward. I think that when they're out there, Chicago's going to take advantage. It'll be interesting. Chicago did win the season series as well, but I think I think they're going to take it. It's the unpopular opinion, but I really think they're going to take it. The only way I'm going to give Edmonton a chance is if McDavid just goes off and steals it on his own. I think that's what it's going to take. It's going to have to be the best hockey he's ever played, which it's McDavid. He's definitely capable of it, but I'm still going to go with the Blackhawks. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below what you think of my predictions and what yours are.